Shot him in the dick. Shot him in the dick. Shot him in the dick. Dick shot. That's a brings a whole new meaning to the term headshot. You saw my over skills and how smooth I was. I was over smooth with my overkill because I got over skills. Is it just my naughty imagination, or is that serpent biting that lady's titty? Yes! Yeah! There it is! Yes! Yes! Ah, you know what? Screw your... Elephant of my sister? Wow! So, tell me how you really feel about your sister, Brenda. Tell me. Let me talk to your sister, Brenda. Nice to meet you. I don't know the words to the song, so I'm gonna make it up as I go. I summoned Valor 4 and then a Bahamut and my Colonia. My hand's too hard. Close. Mad Dragon, who the hell are you?
What?
You heard me right. I can't words when I'm sober, I can't numbers when I'm drunk.
Oh, Dragon, it's okay. Just rub your scales and shut the fuck up.
This is no longer the Crimson Dragon stream. This is all comic stream now. He's now running the stream. Good night, everybody. Hello, everybody. I forgot to do my new intro. Give me a second here. Everybody put your hands in. Holy shit. Welcome back to the Dragon's Lair. I am the Crimson Dragon. So glad to have you here on this Tuesday. I do apologize for not showing up yesterday. I've been busy trying to do some things in life. Some things my time have been pushed forward. So I'm kind of in a bit of a stressed mood, and I'm trying not to let them affect the show. But I have things that I'm trying to get done rather because I really want everything to work. It's regarding my move back to Texas. So just kind of that's the general idea of what it's about. I won't go over the details because it's not really important. But I am here today, and since I actually have decided the game I want to do next. The game I was going to play was Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. Old school third-person shooter. Very much in the realm of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. A little more based, not quite as much RPG based as Jedi Outcast is, or Jedi Fallen Order was. Didn't have it all ready to go by the time the show started, so I decided to do a game that I knew was ready to go. I wanted to show this game off anyway for a little while, and that game is, of course, City of Heroes. We're playing the Homecoming private server. Give a little background on this game. This is a superhero MMO, so think of World of Warcraft, EverQuest. I probably somewhere in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons, probably. Hi, Per2, how you doing? Just think of like your basic, pretty much everyday MMO from like the 2000s to ends. Well, that's what this is. But instead of it being swords and magic and warriors and castle kings, it's superheroes. So think like Superman types, or Green Lantern types, or the difference being you can actually create your own superhero. Now we are in a universe that is completely separate from Marvel, DC, the big actual superhero universe. This is a completely separate world. You're not even as the game's like terms, not even terms of service. You're not even allowed to create a hero that looks anything like DC or Marvel or actual copyrighted hero. But you can make your own hero. Fortunately, there is a massive amount of costume options So you can make your character look like virtually anything you want, say for the aforementioned copyright characters. And so I'm going to demonstrate this game today. Again, this is sort of just a filler day because I didn't have the game I wanted to do. I wanted to show this off to some friends because I'd like to play this with friends. You know, I mean, I can play with random people, but fun friends, right? Right. So we're gonna do that today. But yeah, I'm going specifically for the stream. I played this game a long time ago. It came out in 2000. It was live for 8 years. So let's see, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Yeah. So about 2004 is when the game originally went live. I didn't actually start playing it until like 2006, I think. And I played it all the way up until the main live servers closed down in 2012. Now, since then, it has been rather defunct and available because the original owners of the copyright of the game did not want the game actually put out there by private servers. There were private servers allowed to be had while the game was live. But once the servers shut down, they continued to hold the copyright so nobody could actually server. Well, as of I think 3 years ago, they reopened, or they are now allowed private servers to be open. I'm doing today, Homecoming is the most populous. I believe there's like a half dozen superhero or half a dozen heroes private servers out there, but I know that Homecoming is the most populous. I mean, it's not incredibly huge, but it's got there. It's easily got close to like 10,000 people on its busiest day, which is actually pretty good. That's pretty good for a private. So that's what we're gonna do today. But yeah, that's basically the background. What has happened with the private server version of it is that the people who developed the game gave permission for, I believe, some of the actual original developers of the game permission to create a private server, and they pretty much just picked up right where the live game left off, as far as like updates and everything that was supposed to come. That was scheduled to come out after the live game shut down. They've put them in this game. I'll go into details about it later, but in real short sense, there is a class you can make that was not available in the version scheduled to come out after the live server had shut down. So they kind of pretty much, like I said, that's what I mean by that. Just right where the live game left off. And added things to it here and there. This game, the private server is totally free. This isn't like a free to play thing where you can play it for free and you have to buy like premium currency, or if you want aesthetic things or cosmetic upgrades, you have to buy those. No, this game is 100% free in all aspects of the game. Because it's a private server. Because the original developers, which I believe is NCSoft or it's NC Cryptic, one or the other, does not want them to make a off of their game. It makes sense, you know how I feel about greed and all that, but that's what it boils down to. But anyway, I know this is a long ass intro for a game. I really wanted to explain this because from what I understand, this game is known by not very many people in the circles that I'm aware of. Some people don't even know that the City of Heroes servers are live again. Or the private servers exist, I should say. People that have played the game when it was live, once it shut down, just completely forgot about it. Don't even know these servers exist. I didn't even know myself that these servers were live until, believe it or not, my ex-girlfriend had know about it. She was like, "Hey, did you know City of Heroes is live again? Here's the link to this private server." So that she was the one to let me know, because she and I used to play this game a lot when we were together, back when it was live, of course. We do have one new follower since the last show. April B75 has joined the Dragons there, so thank you so much for your follow. That puts us at 100. Thank you all very, very much for your support. And Captain Link was the first in the chat today. 10 Dragon Cookies to you. Enjoy. Even while you're off to classes doing your thing. So I have created a character specifically for the stream. I have, like, characters I've already made, and I'll show off. I'll go into the character creator so I can show off like how it all works and stuff, and then we'll just jump into the game, the character I've already made, because this character, when I make a new character, there are powers and abilities that you could get. Are how can I say it? They take a they don't they could you can play. I gotta explain it. You can buy abilities in this game with, like, the in-game currency, the actual, like, in-game currency, nothing like real money. It takes a little bit of setting up and everything to do. I didn't want to do that on stream, so I already had this character all set up and ready to go with all the powers that I wanted to buy. In the time, I'll show you guys the character creator and how it works and all the other stuff. So, without any further delay, let's get started. Heroes. So we're gonna go live right now. Here is the character that I'm going to be using. Obviously, his name is Krimson Dragon, of course, the Crimson Dragon. You can't actually use the word "the" in the name of the character, but you can put like a title in front of it so it says the Crimson Dragon. You can't see it here, but when you're live in game, other people that look at your character, they will see the Crimson Dragon or whatever title you choose to put in front of it. And of course, it is a black and red dragon. Makes perfect sense, right? All right, that's kind of loud in my head. So what we're going to do is I want to show off the character creator first so I can show you the abilities and the powers and all this stuff. This game is very, very flexible in the classes that you can make. So we're going to create a new character. Right here in the beginning here, you've got City Heroes Freedom and City Heroes Going Rogue. And I'll go, and this is a little more background in the story of the game. Not the story of the game, but like the history of the game's development, not necessarily the story of the game. The last major update to City of Heroes, the base game of City of Heroes, was to make it free to play. Before that, City of Heroes was a subscription game. In order to play the game in full, you had to pay a monthly subscription. Nothing expensive, like $15 a month, I believe is what it was. So you could buy like a year-long package that was a little bit less per month. But that's how it was. It was a subscription-based game, like I'm sure some MMOs still are. I think World of Warcraft is still a subscription-based game. That's what City Heroes was until I can't remember the exact date when they did it. But at that point, they made it free to play, and that's when it became City Heroes Freedom, because they're freedom being free to play. But the expansion, the update / expansion, whatever you want to call it, before that one was called City of Heroes Going Rogue. And what City of Heroes Going Rogue was, it allows you to create a character in a world that is a parallel dimension of the world that you normally play in. I know it's kind of vague, so I'll give you a little more detail in the story. Actually, before I do that, let me go back up one step more. And one more big update that happened early on in the career in the game itself was City of Villains. When the game first came out, it was literally just City of Heroes. You create a character, he or she was a hero character, a superhero, and you went out in the world and you stopped villains. A few years into the development of the game, or into the game, they made a huge expansion that was called City of Villains, where you could create a villain character and go into a location called the Rogue Isles, and instead of being a superpowered hero, you were a superpowered villain doing villainous things, robbing banks and raiding places and things of that sort. So it was a nice little thing. And the difference being, when you created a hero character, you had a select set of abilities, a select set of classes. Excuse me, a select set of classes. When you created a villain, you had a completely different set of abilities and classes that you could choose from. Okay, makes sense? Now, you could actually you couldn't cross into each other's realm. Like, if you create a villain, you couldn't go into the City of Heroes world. You created a City of Heroes character, you couldn't go into the City of Villains world. They just wouldn't let you do that. Hey Zeus, how you doing? Welcome to the show. I saw you playing Dragon Age 2 this morning. By the time I got on, you had already signed off, but no big deal. Well, there were zones that you could go in to where it was actually PvP. If you were a hero, you could actually fight villains, and if you were a villain, you could fight heroes, and it literally was PvP. I know very little about that because, as you are well aware, I don't do PvP stuff myself. So, yeah, I can't really give a lot of detail on that. But that's pretty much the only time heroes and villains actually interacted was in the PvP zones. And those were like those were areas you could accidentally stumble into. If you went into a PvP zone, it was a dedicated zone that you consciously went into. You didn't accidentally end up there and go, oh my god, I got killed by another person? Why did I end up here? That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. If you go into a PvP zone, you went in there on purpose. And you were aware of what you're doing. Would it stay on longer, but little man woke up? I understand that. I totally understand that. I don't have any kids myself, but I do get the whole thing. I do have my little boy over here, little comment over here. Now, fast forward a little bit more, and let's go back to City of Heroes Going Rogue came out. That was a big expansion nearing the end of the life cycle of City of Heroes. What City of Heroes Going Rogue allowed you to do was create a character in a parallel world of Paragon City and the Rogue Isles, and that location was called Pretoria. And it allowed you to create a character of any class, whether it was a hero or a villain class, and take that character any way you wanted to go. So you create a villain type class and go play in the hero world as a hero, or you could create a hero class and go into the villain world as a villain. So it allows you to kind of have that flexibility, right? So when City of Heroes Freedom came out, they took that one step further and allows you to go either direction as well, but you could create that character from the start. Instead of creating a character in Pretoria and then going to either Atlas Park or Rogue Isles, depending on how you want to do it, or Paragon City, or Rogue Isles, you can actually create your character with all the classes available and start in Paragon City or Rogue Isles, however you want to do it, immediately starting as a hero or villain, respectively. I don't know why I can't talk today. Hold on. Excuse me. There we go. So as you can see right here, as a City of Heroes is what I'm going to be showing you here. Start the game as any of the 10 basic archetypes. I believe there's actually more than 10, but choose to play as a hero or villain during the tutorial, which you can skip. Heroes will continue to play in Paragon City. Villains will continue to play in the Rogue Isles. Play to level 50. Level 50 is the total overall cap of the game. Now, in City of Heroes Going Rogue, which you still can play, you can explore the alternate world of Pretoria. Start the game as any of the 10 basic archetypes, just like in the base game. Choose to play as a resistance or loyalist during the tutorial, which basically just gives you a different way of telling a different view of the story of Pretoria. Nothing really major. You're not really picking hero or villain either way here. It kind of are, one is obviously the good side, one is obviously the bad side, but you can choose the good side and still go to be a villain, or you can choose the bad side and still go to be a hero, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter as far as being in Pretoria is concerned. All characters will start in Pretoria, an alternate dimension. Your character will be a Praetorian. This is what they, as opposed to being a regular hero or villain, because you're technically being born in a different world. You can leave Pretoria at level 20 for either Paragon City or the Rogue Isles. And that's what I was meaning about when you create a character in Pretoria, then you end up going to the hero or villain side either way. And obviously, again, the rule applies where if you create a villain character or you choose to be a hero, choose to be a villain, you can't go to Paragon City. If you choose to make a hero, you can't go to the Rogue Isles. But I don't usually do this. I don't do this anymore. Whenever I create a character, since I started playing the private server, I've never gone to Pretoria. I like the idea of making a character, and I like the hero side. I like Paragon City better than the Rogue Isles because it's just easier to navigate. And I believe that what they call the blue side, which is the hero side, is more popular. So when you're in the chat, if you see somebody talking about blue side, they're talking about the Paragon City side. If somebody's talking about red side, they're talking about villain side. So I think I think the blue side is just more populous. And then here is where you create your origin. Now, pretty much here, this is just telling the game the story of your character. These don't have any effect on your character's abilities or your character's stats or anything like that. All they really affect is how you can, is what, or I should say like this. All this affects is what tools you use to level up your character, to make your character stronger. And there's no advantage over one or the other. There really, really isn't. Nothing is stronger than another. Nothing has an advantage or weakness over the other, or anything of that sort. So it's really not that big of a importance here, other than just telling more about your character. It's really, really not important whatsoever. Just for the sake of this, just for the sake of me showing off the character creator here, we're going to go with natural. Now, as you see up here at the top of the screen, you can choose the different tabs that go through the character creator setup. You can choose playstyle here, which tells you the different actual playstyles that you can be. These are not the classes of the game, what they call archetypes. These just give you like an idea of the archetypes available to you, depending on how you want to play. If you want to play as a tank, if you want to play as a tank type gameplay, it'll tell you which archetypes or classes are more of a tank. Melee damage, which is and so and go down as you go down the list, you see the differences in each one. Melee damage, range damage, crowd control, support like healing, and the ability to summon pets. That's what you do here. Once you select one of these, it'll take you to the archetype box, which will give you the classes that it would recommend for that playstyle. But regardless, I'm going to show. You can just skip this altogether. I'm going to go straight to the archetypes, and I'm going to show them off, as I already know what they all are. We're going to start from the top here. We have the Blaster. This is your basic, straightforward, ranged damage dealer. There is nobody in the game that does more range damage than the Blaster. You can see down here in the lower right-hand corner, you can see the different stats of the different, or the average stats, I guess you could say, of the different aspects of the character. Moderate survivability, not decent range damage because it does have, or melee damage because it does have some. They do have a melee attack. Range damage is obviously their strongest suit because they are a ranged blaster. This to compare to typical MMOs, they're your mage. They are your black mage. They are your offensive ranged juggernaut. They deal the most damage from range. Crowd control is basically your supporting. You're able to limit the movement of your enemies and restrict their attacks, those kind of things. That's what crowd control is. Support is being able to support your allies, healing them, buffing them, and so forth. Pets are pretty much self-explanatory. You can summon minions of your own type, your own pets, to attack your enemies, support you, or whatever. So as you can tell, range damage is the Blaster's strong suit. Then we go to controller here. Basically the same survivability. Melee damage is much, much less because they're really not offensive. Controllers are not really the offensive attackers. They are more of a, well, like you say, crowd control type class. They're more designed to buff your team and they can buff your team, but they're more designed for debuffing the enemy team. Slow them down, restrict their movement, make their attacks weaker. They can put fear. Some of them can cast fear on the enemies, which will allow them to be scared and immobilized. Essentially, that's what the controller does. Controllers are essentially debuffing the enemy. Defenders are the actual opposite of that. They are more for supporting your team and buffing your team. They're your healers. They're your white mages. They heal. They revive. They do all the healing. They do all the healing that your team needs. These guys are just as important. As you can see, the survivability is the same as the Blaster and controller. They can't really handle a lot of hits because they're obviously not the one meant to take it. They don't have a lot of melee damage attacks because they're healing. Your healers don't do any damage. And obviously they do have some offensive attacks, so they're not just sitting there being a lump on a log. They can't actually help with the combat by attacking, but they are meant primarily for healing, which is why support is so high. They do have some limited debuff abilities, but they're mostly designed for healing. Now, the Scrapper is your offensive juggernaut for melee range damage. So short range, high damage. So think of like a blaster, but at melee range. And so a little bit of better survivability, as you can see. Next to no range damage, because they're obviously, like I said, they're in your face. They're the ones that are dealing the damage right up front. They're right on the front line, pretty much. Crowd control, so kind of a mix of offensive juggernaut and debuffer. As you can see, very little support control, so it can't really help out your teammates a bunch, and virtually no pets. Now, the Scrapper is your offensive juggernaut for dealing the damage, but not really able to handle taking the damage. If they are leading a group into a battle, and they take too many hits early on, the Scrapper will drop very quickly. On the other hand, the classic tanker. Pretty much every MMO has a tank class, and it is the tanker, obviously appropriately named. It is the one that you walk in there, and all the enemies will focus on him because that's what they need to do. The tanker takes all the hits from all the enemies as much as possible to keep the allies alive while they do all the damage. So as you can see, survivability is at max. There is nothing that can survive longer than a tank. Melee damage is obviously because they're going to be up in the face of the enemy, taking all the hits, so they need to be able to dish out the physical. They need to dish out the melee damage as well, and that's what he does. Now, again, it's not as high as the Scrapper, because the Scrapper is the one dealing all the damage. The tanker is the one taking all the damage. The tanker leads the group into battle and draws all the attention, while the Scrapper deals all the damage that the tanker cannot. As you can see, obviously, because they're a tanker, again, no range damage. Crowd control is important. Now, you may think this is like referring to debuffs and stuff. Not necessarily. The crowd control when it comes to tanker is really more of a taunt. Because the taunt, or provoke, or whatever you want to call it, is designed to keep the enemies focused on the tanker so they don't go off and start hitting your weak guys like your blasters, your healers, your controllers, stuff like that. All the tanker's attacks are designed to trigger a minor taunt into the enemies around him, so he or she will draw all the enemies to him, focused on him, and he gains strength from those attacks. So as he's getting hit, he gets stronger. His attacks become stronger. That kind of thing. That's why there is some crowd control with the tanker. And now there we go to what they call the Keldian classes, which are the bonus classes that came out, or the bonus classes that were only available to the base game players once you reach the level cap of level 50. You unlock the Peacebringer and the Warshade. These are shapeshifters. As you can see, the Peacebringer and the Warshade, the stats are question marked, mainly because they are a very flexible class. Hello, Kaz. Good to see you. How you doing, Kaz? Glad to have you here. Welcome to the show. Always a pleasure to have you in here. How you doing, Kaz? The Peacebringers and Warshades are a very balanced class because depending on how you build the character and how you use their abilities, connection to Kim. No, I will not. And the reason is I knew a woman named Kim, and I just will not. I just will not. I've been doing good. I'm a little stressed yesterday, which is why I didn't stream, but I'm trying to work those things out off stream. So while I'm here, I'm gonna focus on this. The Peacebringer and Warshade, they're balanced characters, and depending on how you use their powers, will dictate if they have more survivability, if they have more range damage, so on and so forth. And like I said, these characters are shapeshifters. So they're the exact same character. The difference being slight differences in what their abilities do. Like the Peacebringer is a little more of a light class, if you will, and their abilities work a little bit differently than the Warshade, which is a little more dark class, but they still do kind of the same thing. I think their debuffs are a little bit different, but they still shapeshift into the same types of characters. As you can see in the image here, it appears to the right of the screen. You see different appearances of like monsters kind of thing. They have their human form or whatever you create them as. You can shapeshift into this like alien squid thing here, and you can shapeshift into this giant monster thing here. So, like, you have your normal abilities that you have as a human, a humanoid, I should say. Then you shift to the squid that has more range damage but very weak to physical attacks. And then you shift, or you can shift to the big monstrous thing that you see right here. And it's more of a tank class, so it can deal out the melee damage and tank damage a little bit easier. Both the Peacebringer and the Warshade have that, but they're obviously going to look different because of the light and darkness. So a little more of a complex class, not really a straightforward version. What's stressing you out? Well, money. Obviously, it's just money. My timeline for moving has been moved up because I found out that I had my leaving date of Nebraska is a little bit sooner than I expected. I didn't think I was going to have to leave till nearly the end of November, but it's actually now the end of October instead. I need to be out of here by the end of October. So I'm just hoping that I have a job lined up and ready to go in Texas, so I can, just leave here, go straight down there, and start my job. So, and I worry because, no, they're not forcing me to move. No, I want to move. I want to move, but my contract is up at the end of October, so I want to be out of here by then, so I don't have to, move down. So I don't have to like stay here another year because I can't move. I have a 1 year contract and it's up in October. So, if I have to stay past October, I'm going to have to stay another year, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here another October, another year. Um, my problem is when I'm applying for jobs down in Texas, I worry that they're going to see my resume and see my Nebraska address and be like, "Well, this guy must have made a mistake. He didn't mean to send or does this guy even realize that this job is in Texas?" And they're not even going to bother considering me for the position because they see my Nebraska address. That's my worry. That's my biggest worry. Anyway, back to the game. Now we're going to move on to Sentinels here. The Sentinel is a moderate mix of the Blaster and Tanker. Resume means fuck all. Well, for the job that I want to get, the resume means a lot because it shows the experience that I have in an area that is not really niche, but pretty specific, stuff like that. Just so yours might because you're still only 20, Kaz. I'm 36. I have 16 years more experience than you in life, so I have a lot more crap I need to do. I have a lot more crap under my belt. Well, I understand that, but you see, again, I'm worried about distance. Right now, I'm 700 miles from Texas. Right now, I'm 700 miles from Texas, so nobody. I worry that people are going the company that are there is going to see my resume and see the address is Nebraska and be like, this guy is not going to try to work here while living in Nebraska, is he? That's not going to work. And I don't think I would hope that the company would see my resume and be like, well, this looks like a really good resume that could really help us. But if he lives in Nebraska, how is he going to help us? And they would actually maybe contact me and say, hey, are you really in Nebraska and all that other stuff? Is this address correct or whatever? I hope they would call and confirm my plans instead of just go, well, this guy's in Nebraska, he's not going to really help us, and just toss my resume aside. That's what I worry about. That's what I worry about. Well, I don't always have that option, Kaz. There's a couple of places I've already sent my resume. They didn't give me an option for a cover letter or a note or anything like that. I didn't have those options. I didn't have a place to actually put that kind of thing in. Anyway, Sentinel. Sentinel is basically a kind of a mix of a blaster and a tank. Sentinel has the blasting abilities of the blaster, the ranged damage dealing of a blaster. But as you can see, it's not quite as high as a blaster. It's not because it's only 7 as opposed to the 10 for a blaster. But as you can see, the survivability is far higher than a blaster as well. Survivability, I believe, was at 4 with a blaster. It's up to 7 here because the Sentinel actually has the defensive abilities of the tanker and scrapper. Granted, they aren't as good as a tanker or scrapper, but they are more. They can take a hit a little bit better than a blaster can, while still having the range damage of a blaster, even if it is slightly reduced. So that's actually a character class I use a lot because I do like using ranged characters a lot, and I like having the defensive backup in case I get overwhelmed and I'm the last one on the team. I can survive either finishing them off or just GTFO. Basically, from the Sentinel upwards were the hero classes back when you were specifically limited to what classes you could be between hero and villain. So if you chose to be a hero character back in the day, you could only be a blaster, controller, defender, scrapper, tanker, peacebringer, warshade, and sentinel. Starting with the City of Villains expansion, that's when the villain classes came in, and they're basically the same thing as the hero classes with some adjustments here and there. Now, again, these don't matter because they're all the same now in the current version in this private server that I have, but they are slightly different. And back in the old days, they were restricted to villain and hero. So these would be the villain classes. The Brute is basically the tanker, same basic thing. As you can see, less survivability and more melee damage. So kind of a combination of a stalker, of a scrapper and a tanker. Has the defensive withstanding of a tanker, a little bit less though, but still some offensive abilities like the scrapper. Okay, Kez, I'll be here when you get back. Depending on how long you take, of course. So, the Brute is like a upgraded tanker as far as damage dealing, but downgraded scrapper as far as and an upgraded scrapper as far as survivability, as far as being able to take damage. They're like a softer tank, but not quite as squishy as a scrapper. Now the Stalker is basically a scrapper. The difference being it's a cloaked scrapper. The Stalker can actually completely cloak, become completely invisible to all enemies without the enemies having like some really good detection abilities, which is pretty rare. And what the Stalker can do is every Stalker has a special ability, one skill that when launched from cloak does an extreme amount of damage, like massive amount of damage. So a good strong one hit right out of cloak. It's a charged up attack, granted, but if you're invisible, it doesn't really matter because they can't hit you while you're charging it up. So the Stalker is a scrapper in every sense, except for that one ability of being able to cloak, and what they call an assassin strike, being able to attack an enemy with your first strike being a very high damage strike because you come out of cloak, or attacking with that ability while in cloak. Now here is a class that is a villain specific. There's nothing that really compares to it, but this is called a mastermind. This is a pet strong minion based character. Your character can spawn underlings, minions, pets, whatever you want to call it. As you can see, pets are its strongest aspect. It is essentially like a small healer because the mastermind comes with healing abilities, not only for healing his pets, but being able to heal the team as well. So it's kind of like a mini defender in a sense. It does have a little bit of crowd control. Obviously, since it's going to be summoning characters, it's going to be summoning its own monsters, its own minions, its own pets. It doesn't need to be up close in the action, so it has better range damage than a melee class. And obviously, survivability is good and high because it can heal itself. And with the pets out there, the pets are going to draw all the attention of the enemies, and not really a whole lot of attention is going to be put on the mastermind itself. So the mastermind is a very unique class, but it does require some patience and talent to learn. If you're playing this game for the first time, I would highly advise not choosing a mastermind as your first class, because it is very difficult to learn. Now, easy to master, difficult to learn, in my opinion. Now we have the Dominator, which is essentially the villain-ish version of the controller. Again, high crowd control, but usually the abilities are a little bit different. A little more damage dealing with their control abilities, whereas the controller's crowd control ability, the controller's debuffing, it's pretty much just that. It's a debuff. It just holds them, immobilizes them, whatever. That's all it does. There's very little damage associated with the controller's debuffing. The Dominator has a little more damage dealing alongside its debuffing and control. So it can control the same amount of group of enemies and stuff as a controller can, but with the addition of a little extra damage alongside it, which is why range damage is so high. And it also has a bit of melee damage incorporated with it as well. And controllers as well as dominators can summon its own little pets as well. The pets aren't obviously anywhere near as good as a mastermind, but they do the job. The corruptor is essentially the villain-ish again version of a blaster. Not quite as much damage dealing as a as a blaster, but they have an ability that is innate to corruptors that as they continue to attack, the damage they deal is increased. So when a battle starts, your corruptor is not really dealing a whole lot of damage. I mean, it's still pretty good, but still not great. But as the battle continues and the corruptor continues launching his attacks at enemies, his attacks become stronger and stronger and stronger with every continuous attack during a specific battle. So it's one way the corruptor can actually be flexible while not dealing a lot of damage at the start. Near the end of the battle, he or she, the corruptor will likely be the one that will finish the battle off because they're probably going to be doing the most damage, probably next to the blaster or the scrapper, because their abilities ramp up as they continue fighting. Now, like the Warshade and Peacebringer, there were bonus classes for the villains. They're called Arachnos Widow and Arachnos Soldier. I don't know a whole lot about these classes because I haven't played them very much, but I believe the Arachnos Widow is the melee version, because range damage is really low, is the melee version of the two, and really, as you can see with the psychic attacks, very psychic based, a lot of psionic attacks, mental debuffs to an extent, and the one thing I forgot to mention about the Warshade and the Peacebringer is, unlike the other classes, Warshade, Peacebringer, and the two Arachnos classes, they only have one ability set. They don't have a lot of options. They have one ability set. Now they have multiple abilities in that set, but they only have one ability set, where the other classes have multiple ability sets with abilities in those sets. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Then the Soldier is the ranged version of the Widow, obviously. Has more ranged attacks, comes with a backpack that does an extra damage. It's all based around, obviously you can tell by the name Arachnos, a spider-type villain that exists in the City of Villains universe, and you can play as the Arachnos' minion, even if you're playing as a good version on the hero side. Now, let me show you an example of what I mean by the single power set. You go into the Peacebringer here. Let's go ahead and just jump into its powers. As you can see, the power set is Luminous Blast. We have one power set. Granted, that power set has a set of abilities, a pretty sizable set of abilities, but it is only one power set, and each class comes with a primary and a secondary power set. As you can see, it has only one power set in the secondary as well. The same is true for the Warshade and the Arachnos Widow and Soldier. So you can see Widow training and teamwork. So yeah. But every other class, however, has multiple power sets. So let's look at the blasters. You see the blaster's primary powers. The primary powers of the blaster are going to be ranged damage dealing, like I said. So archery, assault rifle, beam rifle, dark blaster, dual pistols, very fun by the way, electrical blast, energy blast, fire blast, ice blast, psychic, radiation, sonic, which is sound waves, and water blast. For the most part, all of these are the same. The differences being some of them do different side effects, some different status ailments as your attacks progress. Take Fire Blast, for example. Fire Blast, when you hit enemies, you can catch them on fire and do additional damage over time. Ice Blast, when you hit enemies, that will slow them down, cause them to actually move around the field slower, and it slows the recharge rate of the enemy's abilities. There are also, downsides to some abilities. Take Psychic Blast, for example. Psychic Blasts are usually not easily defended, so regardless of the defense stats of the enemy, the Psychic Blast will penetrate those because they're designed to. However, like it says, robotic enemies which have no brain, no biological brain, are immune or resistant to psychic attacks. So there are upsides and downsides. Radiation Blast, again, for example, launches blasts of radiation at the enemy, and the radiation debuffs the enemy, so their defenses are weakened, and then follow-up damage will be obviously increased. Sonic Attack kind of does the same thing. Water Blast does more damage over time, and they have secondary abilities that when you use these certain attacks together, they like mount up into one big attack that can deal a good larger amount of damage when triggered. I know this is kind of vague and a lot to take in, but I'm just kind of throwing that out there. And when it comes to secondary powers, the secondary powers of the blaster are basically miniature control abilities. The controllers usually have the same type of abilities, but they're in the primary power set, and primary powers are going to be more powerful than secondary powers. So while you will see some duplicates in the secondary powers in the controllers' power sets, they will be more powerful in the controller's hands than they will be in the blaster's hands, because the primary powers of the blaster are these over here, the blast sets, where the control abilities are in the controller's primary set. Hi, Holly. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Doing some old school MMO here, showing this off. And you can see a pretty wide range of secondary abilities. Atomic manipulation, which is radiation, devices, all this kind of stuff. As you can see, there's a description down at the bottom that tells you everything about all the abilities, what they do. And of course, like I said, just like the other classes, each class has a subset of powers within those classes. And they're all based on the same stuff. So beam rifle, archer, assault rifle, dark blast has dark stuff, things of that sort. And each of these abilities, each of these classes are all, have that kind of setup. They have a power set. They have power sets, and they have powers in that set. One way I can show you an example of what the difference is between a primary and secondary power sets is if we take a look at the scrappers here. The scrappers powers. Primary powers: battle axe, broadsword, claws. These are weapons that the scrapper can use to fight with during battle. And the secondary powers are defensive abilities: armor, bioarmor, dark armor, electric armor, etc. Defensive armor, so on and so forth. Holly has resubscribed. Why is it down like that? I don't like that. Regardless, thank you for your 2 months of subscription, Holly. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. The primary powers being the attacks, and secondary powers being the armor. And we go over to the tanker for a second there, and we look at the powers. You see they're reversed. The primary power for the tanker is the armor, and the secondary powers are the attacks. Why? Remember what I said about the controllers and the blasters. The control abilities that a blaster has in the secondary power set are stronger for the controller because they are in the controller's primary power set. The same holds true for the tanker and the scrapper. The scrapper's primary power set are the attacks, and the secondary set for the scrapper are the defense. With the reverse, the tanker is stronger defensively because the armor is the primary power set, and the attacks are weaker because they are the secondary power set. Which is why a tanker is better at being the tank class, obviously, because they will have the strongest defense, because the primary power set is armor and defense. Let's just go ahead and select a couple of random abilities here, just because we can. Actually, just going to go to a blaster here. I'll show off how the character that I made. I'll show you how Crimson Dragon was made. Crimson Dragon is a fire blaster. You can pick every primary power set starts with 2 abilities. You can pick one of these 2, and as you obviously level up, you gain access to the more powers further down the tree. But at level 1, you have a choice of these 2 powers. Secondary power set, I think I chose, what did I choose? Trying to remember. Maybe I made him a sentinel. I don't remember now. Actually, I mean, on a blaster. I chose energy manipulation. And depending on the secondary ability that you get, not all of the secondary abilities for a blaster will be the exact same as they will in a controller's power set. So even though, so what I said about you'll see the power sets duplicated in some classes, there will be some power differences between certain classes. So like I said, seeing these power sets here in the controller class, you're not going to see some of these powers here in the controller's version of the energy manipulation because they don't need them because that's not what they're designed for. Take this ability here, Power Thrust. It's a melee ranged attack. It's designed to knock an enemy away from you if you're too close. That's exactly what Power Thrust does. If they can be knocked back, that's what this power will do. And not all abilities start with a knockback ability. Take a look at Darkness Manipulation here. Penumbral Grasp, Dark Manipulation, doesn't use any kind of knockback. It's just a dark hole. So it casts a dark ability on them and it holds them in place. They can't move. Or they can't move around the field. They can still attack, but they can't move. As you can see, energy manipulation doesn't have that. So while they all are similar in many, many ways, there are differences that make certain abilities better than others. Or not better, but different than others. So there are some differences. Okay, Holly, I appreciate the lurk. So I chose energy manipulation, and secondary powers when you make a new character only has one power. So we're just going to select Power Thrust, and we're going to move on to the creating how our character looks. As you can see, we have 3 genders essentially, but essentially it's just 2 genders and then a large male version. You have the male, obviously, then you have a female, and then you have what they call huge, which is essentially the Incredible Hulk. So if you want your character to be like, me Hulk, there you go. That's what you would use. Then you can adjust, their appearance here as far as like their body's appearance, not necessarily their outfit. With these here, you got, the physique, make them, skinny, make them really buff, so on and so forth. Change their height from, super small to super tall. You can see the differences in their model as you shape them back and forth, chest and all that. Obviously, for those of you who are, naughty with the women, the chest makes the boobs bigger or smaller. Go figure, right? This game was obviously made by men. The huge is the same thing as the male as far as, height and all that stuff. And when it comes to the costumes, what can I say? There is a massive array of options. You can, even start you with a random setup that you can change it well if you wanted to. You can clear it. This is the default appearance. Obviously, you have a color palette over here on the right, as you can clearly tell. You change the skin color to be a rather, any color you wanted. You could have, sickly yellow face guy. You could have, really hot red guy. Really cold blue guy. You could have, pasty white, or invisible, super dark. Just hit clear to reset that. And then you have costume sets, and then of course you can also break them down into different areas. You got armored, and then of course these costume sets are like default sets, and you can break down into, like I said, head, upper body, lower body, and you can change them at will. So you got armored, average, bear, eye candy ladies, biker, biker 2, so on and so forth. And there are an array of different things, different ways you could go with this. Let's go ahead and just clear the board here. Start with head. You can go with each subset has a subset within it. So you got head, you have a standard head, which is face, hair, full masks, which is going to have a mask here. He doesn't show it right now. You put a hat on him or her. You put a hat on, hats, hoods, helmets, half helmet, full helmet, medieval helmet, so on and so forth. Think tank, so creepy stuff. all the way to animals like wolf, bird, big cat, little cat, fish. Special helmets are really designed for, or really meant for the Arachnos, because this is an Arachnos helmet here, one of those Arachnos subclasses. You could use this helmet with any class, but it's, you know, it's designed as an Arachnos helmet because that's what they're meant for. And of course, again, each of the subsets has its own, you know, subset of options that you can go through. You know, down here you can change the hairstyle. You can put, you know, glasses on them. Facial hair, armor on the face, you know, whatever, that kind of thing. Upper body, same basic thing. You can put, you know, regular outfit. You can put a t-shirt on them. You can put robe on them. You can go to, you know, robotic arm. You put armor on them. There's actually like a plate of armor. Now again, this is all aesthetics. So if you choose armored, it doesn't mean you actually have better defense stat or anything. It has no effect on your stats whatsoever as far as how you make your character. It's strictly cosmetic. Trench coat, so on and so forth. Same thing with the bottom, the lower body, you know, pants, kilts, shorts. Shannon, are you here? It's a kilt. You'll appreciate that, won't you? Armored. And you have monstrous legs if you want to make a monster character. Monster type character. Let's go and clear the board here. Bat detail. This is what allows you to have capes if you wanted. So you want to put a cape on your character, like, you know, like a classic superhero, and go like half metal, for example. There's a superhero cape. You can obviously customize the cape colors, how it appears. So you can have a long cape, short cape, DVD edition, Valkyrie. You know, lots of different like options here. So there are. It is very unlikely you could ever create a character in CD Heroes and someone else will make another character that looks just like him, because there's just so many color options and piece options. And then, of course, you can add an aura to them. I guess I can show the aura here. Let's say go to, like, let's go with, like, fiery. And now it looks like he's on fire. And make it colorized right. There we go. It's even easier to see. You can adjust the effect. You have a fiery body, adjust your fists, fist and eyes. You can have it. You have the aura come on during battle only. So when you're outside of battle, you don't see it, but in battle, you actually have the power, the aura on. There are some abilities. There are some ability sets, power sets that come with weapons. So, for example, let's go back to the power set here. And let's go to the dual pistols, for example. Let's just go to something more obvious, easier to see. Let's go to the assault rifle. Then we go back to the costume. We now have a weapons category here. And you can choose what your assault rifle looks like. You got the original assault rifle. Merc assault rifle. Silenced Merc assault rifle. Merc military assault rifle. Sniper rifle. Tommy gun. If you want to make your character look like he's from L.A. Noire. Submachine gun, Nemesis rifle. Nemesis is an enemy class, not enemy class, but enemy group in this game, so you can use like the enemy's weapons, sort of. Vanguard weapons, the remarkable reliable rifle, XM rifle, so like old school sci-fi weapon. Celestial rifle, that's kind of cool looking. L5 hyper rifle, that's pretty cool looking. So, and each of the classes that carries a weapon, you can customize the weapon for. So not just like, you know, ranged weapons like an assault rifle or a gun, but even if we were to choose a melee class, like let's say take the Scrapper here, and we take the claws, for example, you can even adjust how the claws look. Widow blades, flat blade. You have like an energy blade looking thing. You can see how it's kind of energy blade-ish looking. RG blade, Ruleroo's Talon. That's a really long one there. Wow. That's a long blade. Viper blade, Vanguard, RG. I kind of like it. Hard to make a character. I make this kind of character. I use the RG blades here. That's kind of cool. It's like, you know, go over here to ruler. Like, wow, your blade is so long. And look at this. You can do it on both sides. Oh, wow. 2 of those so long. I want those inside me so badly, right, ladies? So yeah, you get claws. You know, you go to battle axes. You have different options there for that. So you have a lot of customization options when it comes to not just the powers, but also the abilities. So even a sword. So you got the Black Knight sword. There's another big sword. You think he's compensating for something? You have a lot of options for swords. Wow. There's a lightsaber if you want to make a Jedi. Some of these I haven't seen before. Hook sword. Cabal for Mortal Kombat, anybody? A powered chainsaw. Alright then. So, a lot of different options there. Let's go back to the blaster real quick and show this off as well. Not only can you customize your abilities, like what your abilities are and what they look like, and weapons if you so use them. Go back to energy manipulation just for the sake of this. You also customize how your powers look. So we go to Fire Blast here. Kez has redeemed 2,000 Crimstones for the Chocobo Ranch commercial. I need to take a little bathroom break anyway, so I will show you the power colorized options when I get back. So enjoy this commercial per Kez, and I'll be right back. Howdy, y'all. My name is Richard Dickerson, but you can call me Dick. That's right, I'm Dick Dickerson, and I'd like to ask you something. Have you ever wondered how to cross the largest oceans but don't have a boat? Ever wondered how to climb the highest mountains but don't have any climbing gear? Well, want to know more? Here at Big Dick Chocobo Ranch, you can get yourself one of my fancy chocobos that can make those massive oceans seem like puddles and make those towering mountains feel like tiny dirt piles. We have the widest selection of the cutest chocobos this side of Midgard. From the slick feathered strider to the fluffy darter to the established and mature look of the swift runner, you're sure to find a chocobo type that's right for you. Don't want a chocobo that looks like the rest? For a small additional fee, we can color your chocobo's feathers to any color you like. With our patented permadye technology, your chocobo can be virtually any color you wish and remain that way for the lifespan of the chocobo. Our permadye technology is completely safe for you, your family, and the chocobo. We also have a wide selection of accessories for you to choose from. From tiny trinkets like medals to full body armor, you can accessorize your chocobo to your heart's desire. So stop by Big Dick Chocobo Ranch to speak to one of our chocobo masters about your chocobo today. Or you can give us a call to set up an appointment or check out our website at bigdickranch.nut. That's right, bigdickranch.nut. I'm Dick Dickerson. I'll see you down the road. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you again, Kez. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Thank you again for the good timing on that break. Yeah, absolutely. You can customize your character's abilities. Like, not only just customize their abilities, you can customize how they look as well. So let's just take our first ability here, flares. That's what it normally looks like by default. Let's rotate over here so you can kind of see how they look. Just kind of straightforward fire, shooting straight out of your hands. That's what they look like normally. Now you can do bright fire or dark fire. Ignore these two on the bottom for the moment. I'll explain them in a second. But let's just change to bright fire here for a second. And you can customize them to look like any color you want. You could go like the pink you got here. You see here's your options. You have 2 color options here, like a primary and secondary color. So let's do something. Let's mix some things up here. Let's go like red and blue. That should be pretty obvious. So you can kind of see the red and blue design on of the flames on the hands. You see the red on the outside and the blue at the top. And you can see how they mix here into a nice red and blue here and make it purple. Or we can go like red, yellow. red and white. We can even reverse it and go white and red. The red's a little harder to see because the white, takes up is so bright and takes up so much. And you see how you can customize the abilities. You can make a pink character if you wanted and shoot a bunch of pink blasts everywhere. And for you ladies that like pink, pink fire. Oh, how pretty! And you can customize. You can customize almost all of your abilities, and you can make them any color you want as far as what's on the palette. Like you can make your character, each ability can be a different color if you wanted. So you have like the flares be pink, and have this ability be like a green color. So you got your pink blasts here, you got your green blasts here, whatever you wanted to do. And now there's also different. There's bright versions and there's dark versions. So bright's obviously going to look a little brighter. You have dark fire, which is a little darker looking. So you have more darker based colors here. And when you use a brighter color with a dark shade or the dark category, they're a little bit harder to see. So I recommend if you want to use bright colors, to use the bright versions. And pretty much any character abilities that use fire, ice, shadow, whatever, will have the ability to customize your characters, customize your abilities colors. Now, things that use weapons like your sword, your claws, your gun, things of that sort, you can't change those colors, unfortunately. So you can't change like how the explosion looks from a grenade or from your rocket, from a assault rifle, or how your bullets are colored or anything like that. Those can't change. You can change your weapon, but you can't change the weapon's color or the attack's color. Like if you use a sword, you can't change the color of the slash that it goes through the enemy. You can't do that. But any abilities that come from your character, those can change color. And then, of course, you have the bright and dark versions of them. And then some abilities have a different animation as far as what the character does. Like you see in this case, he puts both fists out and shoots them out that way. Well, with the bright flares version, you see he uses one hand. He puts one hand out and blasts. So many abilities have two different ways that your character is animated when performing the attacks. Here, the most obvious example I can give is fire breath. As you can see, he's using his breath by firing it out his mouth, obviously, since it's called fire breath. Now, we could use that version if you wanted to. You use the bright fire version. Or we could use the bright flame throw, where he uses his hand. And you got fireball, which is, just this really hard whoosh attack as he, throws it out there. And then you've got bright fire crush, where he uses both hands to shoot it. So you have a pretty good level of flexibility when it comes to your abilities, how they look, and what your character does when performing those attacks. Now, again, there's no statistic difference between the colors or how they attack or their animations or anything like that. It's strictly just how they look, as far as costumes and as far as customizing how they look. And then, of course, you can register your character, put the name up here, tells you all about it. Your blaster start health, first health, level 1 health is 102. They call it security level. That's basically your power level, level 1, level 2, etc. Your battle cry, it's just something you can put in optionally. And if you want to make like your character's origin, tell a story about your character, how your character was raised, why he has his or her abilities, whatever, you can put that down here. Again, completely optional. And the only time anybody will actually see this is if they click on your character. They can actually go like inspect character or look at your bio, I think is what it is, and it'll actually get to read your character's backstory if you so desire to put one on there. I know I've been talking for about an hour now about this game, to telling you how the game works. I think I've talked enough. You probably are sick of me talking already. So we're going to go ahead and go back here. And we're actually going to jump into the game with my level 1 Crimson Dragons. You see the characters I've made already. You've got this guy's named Scorith. He is when I first played CD Heroes, this was the first character I ever made in the base game. And so when the live version came out, I made it the exact same way I did over there. So that's him. He's like level 50. He's my top character. He will always be here. Characters will come and the rest of the characters will come and go. In fact, I had like 15 characters on here when I got back on this game a few weeks ago. I deleted almost all of them because you can see I now only have 5. But he will never go anywhere. He will always be here. Then I have Crimson Renegade, which is my dual pistol blaster, or dual pistol sentinel. Crimson Bloodhawk. You can see the parallel, or you can see the consistency there. He is a water blaster, but I've customized his powers to look kind of like a dark red, so it kind of looks like he's using blood powers. When he attacks, his powers actually look like blood a little bit. So that's kind of why I made the character look that way. But he is a water blaster. Crimson Taurus, a bull type. He's a melee class. He's a tanker. He punches with fire punches. So that's what he is. And then here's what I'm going to be demonstrating. Pause 00312 is real. Yeah, okay. We know you're not money, so don't try. Don't try. We know you're not real. Crimson Dragon, which is the character I created, like I said, off screen. Because I didn't want to go through the process of making the character on screen and then doing all the setups of getting the powers sorted out and made and everything. So as we play the game, when I play it on stream, which will be kind of rare, just every once in a while I'll do it on stream. This is who it's going to be. He is a fire blaster. Energy manipulation, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. You can get abilities later on where you can fly and stuff. Hence why I put wings on him. The wings are just, again, a cosmetic thing. You don't have to have wings or anything special to fly. Fly is just an ability that you can learn. You also have teleportation, super speed, so you have travel abilities, even teleportation. Did I say teleportation twice? Anyway. Running, jumping, super speed, super jumping, teleportation, things of that sort. So, we're going to play this for a little while. Probably going to make it a short stream today because I've already been talking for an hour. But we're going to make this a rather short stream because I want to show this off just a little bit. I'm hoping that some of my friends that I know off stream will stop by the show and watch, and hopefully be interested because I would like to play this game with some of them. As I said, this is an older game, so it's not like it's going to require a lot of really heavy effort on the part of your are going to require a heavy amount of resources. Did I actually not set my powers? Oh shit, no I didn't. Okay, cool. Let's see something real quick. Oops. I have no money. That's a problem. Alright, well, give me a second here. I thought I had this character still ready to go. Let me remedy that real quick. We'll put a little money on this character real quick. I thought I had done all this stuff off stream. I didn't. Oops. I'll try to do this really fast then. He's got real quick. Money in this game is called, depending on where you're located. If you're in Paragon City, it's influence. If you're in Rogue Isles, it's called infamy. Money. Almost right. I have 20 minutes. Okay. I can get more money on him easily, so I'm not worried about giving him all of it. Or taking all of it from him. I don't use him that often anymore anyway, but he's my money gatherer now that he's max level. Yeah, he go through areas and get a lot of do a lot of things where you can get a lot of money easily, so I'm not worried about it. If the game sounds loud, please feel free to let me know. I apologize if it's been drowning you out all this time. I realize that my mic was turned down all this time, so I apologize for being really quiet this whole time, and I apologize now if I'm suddenly very loud. Alright, let's claim that. And delete it. Now let's go get those powers I was telling you about. I thought I had all this stuff set up. I do apologize. As you can see, the wings are actually, to a point functional. They are animated. Alright, let's see. Okay, inspiration drops, prestige enhancements I don't care about. Powers. Alright. I am a magic origin, right? Yeah, magic origin. Okay. So we'll get advantage out of the black wand. So we'll use the black wand. There's the staff. I use the Sands of Mu for melee if I need it. No, I don't really need to because I have a melee ability. I don't care about buff pets. Let's do travel. Movement. We're going to use Beast Run. Use different abilities here that give you basically these abilities are all the same ability. They just give you different animations for your character as you're moving. So we use Beast Run here. So when he's moving, he looks like he's running around like an animal, like a beast. Long range teleporter would be good to have. Team transporter, mission transporter, and assemble the team. Utility, buff powers, inner inspiration is good. I don't need Mystic Fortune. Secondary mutation be nice. This power shares its cooldown with renewal of light. Okay, so let's do. Let's just get renewal of light once. I worry about portable workbench right now. Reveal is nice to have. Some of these abilities are not really critical. These are just my personal preferences. And then we'll get the experience rate boosts. You can buy experience boosters. As you can see, 25, 50, and a double experience. The penalty to using these experience boosts is that you gain no money in relation to the amount of experience you're gaining. So, as you can see, 25% experience boost, you gain 25% boost of experience, but you will lose 25% of the what they call influence again. Influence gain will be reduced by 25%. So it's all a balance. So you have no experience boost, but you get 100% influence, or 25% boost in experience to lose 25% of influence, and so on and so forth. So if you get a full experience booster, you won't be able to get any experience, any influence, which is fine with me for now. Again, I'm not worried about money. I can get money easily, so I'm just going to max out on these. You can buy each of these boosters lasts 1 hour of in-game times, or active time, I should say. So you can buy up to 8 of them. So you can have up to 8 hours of boosted experience, and it's 8 hours, like I said, of in-game time. So, or active in-game time. So if you log out for 24 hours, okay, let me say it like this. If you're in the game for an hour, and then you log out for 24 hours, and you come back, you still have 7 hours left. It doesn't degrade while you're offline. Alright, let's move my powers around here. Fast travel. Fast travel gives you all your long-range traveling abilities. Ouroboros is a location you can travel to. Base transporter. You can create supergroups in this game. We actually can create basically like a clan, but I call it a supergroup. And you actually have a base that you can go to and all visit and hang out. You can put stuff in there that you can actually use and store things. You can store items and stuff that you get throughout the game. You can store them there. You can store them in places that you can keep for yourself, or you can store them in places where other players can use them as well. So if you have a good community in your supergroup and you like to share items, you can put items in there that people can share from easily. Supergroup portal, I think, is kind of the same thing. I think base transporter takes you to your base, your supergroup base, and I think supergroup portal lets your teammates go to your supergroup. So, like, you can put down a supergroup portal, and people that are with you or around you can go to your supergroup base, whereas the base transporter takes you and you alone to your supergroup base. I'm not really sure what these two are. I've never seen these before. Mission transporter will transport you straight to the beginning of your quest, your mission location. Team transporter teleports your entire team, I believe, to where you're located, or it's to where we are, to a specific location. I forget exactly. And then assemble the team. I think that's what takes everybody to your location. And then you can teleport to zones across the game if you have unlocked the access to those locations. So these are all the zones in Paragon City, which is the hero zone. Rogue Isles, this is the villain zone. Pretoria is the zone I told you about for going rogue. And Shadow Shard, this is stuff I actually don't know that much about. Never actually been to any of these locations, so I'm not sure what those are. So let me take a moment here to put powers on my tray that I want. Put them in here in the right order. I want power thrust. I'm going to put up here like this and have it auto use. You can set one ability to automatically fire, automatically be activated whenever it is able to be used. And only one ability can do that. There's Beast Run. Don't need Brawl. Brawl is your... Every character comes with Brawl. Brawl is just your basic, straightforward melee attack. Melee range, like I said, does very little damage and very fast recharge, but you can't upgrade it. You can't make it... Well, actually, you think you can, but it's not really worth spending the time to upgrade it. Sands of Mu, Black Wand, Nemesis Staff. I didn't really need Sands of Mu because I have my knockback. Brawl, Prestige, Power, Sprint, Defiance, Turtle. These are all auto abilities. Will always have a little A on them. So if you can't drag them to your tray and you see the A on them, that means they're auto abilities. They're always on. They're passive abilities. Okay, I don't think I need any of this stuff on here. I think I've got everything I want set. Now, let me show off this real quick. This is called your enhancement slot. These are all of your abilities, and this is how you make your character stronger. You take items called enhancements, and you slot them into these slots, and it makes your character powers more powerful, more useful. Each ability has its own set of upgrades that you can put on it. There's a wide range of upgrades, but you can only put certain upgrades on certain abilities. Like take melee ranged abilities, for example. You can't put a range increase on a melee ability because they will always be melee range. But you can put it on a ranged ability. Conversely, you can't put a healing upgrade, a healing upgrade item called an enhancement. You can't put a healing upgrade, a healing enhancement on an ability that doesn't heal. Like I can't put a healing upgrade on the flares because they are a damaging attack. Again, conversely, for a healing ability, you can't put a damage upgrade on healing because it doesn't do any damage. And then down here in the lower right-hand corner, you see this icon, this little box down here. These are called inspirations. Let me go ahead and show you what they are. Use this ability here, and I'll go 3 inspirations. And inspirations are minor self buffs. Okay, they are quick things that you can use in a battle that will give you a small buff in a certain area. There are multiple different kinds. I believe there's like 6 different kinds of inspirations. Each one has a different tier of power, obviously. You have your weakest to your middle to your strongest. There are a few other special inspirations, but for the most part, you get these drops rather randomly from enemies. The 3 that I have here to show off for an example is this red one, Focused Rage. This is an attack boost inspiration, so your attacks will get buffed for a short time. Break Free, this is your, I believe this is your damage resistance, yeah. This is your damage resistance. This reduces the damage you take for a short time. And then you have Awaken, it says Awaken, but it's actually, that's, the name of that is wrong. This is actually called a Catch a Breath, essentially, but it is a endurance increase inspiration. Up here in the upper right-hand corner, you see you have health and you have endurance. Your endurance is essentially your stamina, your mana, if you will, whatever term you want to put on it. But as you use abilities, you drain your endurance. It recharges over time, and there are abilities that keep your endurance charging faster, but as you use abilities, you do drain endurance, and this item here, this blue one, will recharge some of your endurance. Okay, with that said, let's go ahead and get started and do something here. Turn on my beast run here so you can see now, as I move around, I'm crawling around. Let's actually do this real quick. This is an Ouroboros portal. It's going to take us to Ouroboros. It's a side location. It will give you the badge that allows you to make a portal where you can come here on your own. got it already, so we're good. I'm sure you're like Atlas now. And if you're into the game for the first time, or with a character for the first time, a new character, you want to try to, if you see somebody with that Ouroboros portal open, a little gold portal, go ahead and step into it, get the portal, and come back to where you are, and you'll be able to use that portal anywhere you want to. Okay. Now, with that said, let me reset my camera here. I accidentally moved it wrong. Okay. There are characters, it's just like any other MMO, you talk to them, they give you a mission, you go do it. But I am going to actually do some grinding with, a little bit of grinding in a, what they call a trial, with some characters that I can randomly team up with. So let's do some, let's team up here. Looking for group, LFG, looking for a group for, actually let's just get like level first, level 1. I forget, am I a Senator or Sentinel or Blaster? I forgot my abilities. Oh, it has to be a Blaster because of this. Level 1, Blaster, looking for group, DFB. DFB stands for Death from Below. It is the trial that new player or new no, I keep saying new players that new characters will want to use to level up characters early on. This is a usually you want to get to about like maybe 10 or 15. Once you hit 15, you really don't want to run the Death from Below trial anymore because it's just too the experience gain would be not really worth it. You can get better experience at other events, other activities. Let's see if anybody's doing Death from Below. There's the screen that the way you see my UI set up here is different from the norm because I customized it to look the way I want it. But some people just like the default way, but I have I'm a little OCD in that matter. So my my UI is set up quite different from most people. So we can get hopefully get a Death from Below team going here. Rather not make a team if I can keep from it, but well, if I do, I do. Oh, I was talking about this earlier. The long-range TP zone check. What this does, this tells you what zones you have unlocked for fast traveling to, and the only way to unlock locations to fast travel to is you have to discover an exploration badge in that zone. What's that you say? What is an exploration badge? Well, I'll show you. There are locations throughout each map where all you got to do is go there, walk in that little area, and you'll discover a badge. And you'll have explored that area. For example, if we go over here to behind the City Hall building, we walk over here in front of this guy here, we're going to get a badge. Badge earned. Earn the Hero Core Insider badge. See this little thing on the ground here? This is an exploration badge. All you got to do is look, go around town and try to find one of these little badges sitting on the ground. Walk over it or walk near it, and you'll get the badge for it. And now, if we do a TP zone check, you see Paragon City. Atlas Park can now be fast traveled to because we have discovered at least one exploration badge in the zone. You only need one exploration badge in any given zone to be able to fast travel to that zone. There are multiple badges that can be found throughout the town, or throughout each area, and basically that's just for collector's sake, for sort of completion, if you will. Like I can show you, there's one on top of City Hall. It's easy to get up there if you have a flight ability. I can get up there easily enough with jumping. I just have to, finagle a little bit here. There we go. Up here on top of this dome, and there we go. There it is. There's another one. Earn the Freedom Badge. Now, there is one that you really do need to have flight to get, or somebody to teleport you up there if you have teleport. It's right on top of the ball up here. You kind of see this little glowing thing right here. This is somebody standing up there, or was. You can get up on top of this globe. There's another one of those another one of these badges up there. Like I said, the only way you get up there is by flight or by somebody teleporting you up there. So I don't have anybody that can do that right now, so I can't demonstrate that, but it's there. There's also one inside City Hall here. So you can click on doors to open and go into places. Like here. Here's the Patriot badge. And you can go over here. Down the stairs. I believe it's in... yeah, this one here. Welcome to this guy here, I think. No, it's over here. Now, here it is. In front of this door. Edge of Chaos badge. You can see you have all these characters here you can talk to start missions and stuff for. So, yeah. Again, I would do these, but it would just be faster to level up through using a DFB, Death from Below trial. I'm sure there's got to be new people out here that are willing to play. I just they haven't. I mean, invite. I guess I can make a team. You see this building over here? This building is called the Tram. You can go into it to travel to other locations throughout Paragon City. Some locations in Paragon City cannot be reached by the train; they have to be reached by other means. But the case still applies, and the same is true for the city villain side, Rogue Isles. There's different ways to do it. I think it's just a boat, but there are ways to travel from zone to zone in the other side, on the red side as well. Alright, I guess I'll just make a team here. So let me pull up my PM box here. I'll just make my own team. This guy here, the Dark Ninja Clan, is looking for Death from Below, a level 17. He doesn't really be doing Death from Below, but I'm not going to tell him. I don't really care. It's up to him to figure it out. Informing, PST for invite. PST is Police Intel. 1 of 8. 1 of 8, which means currently 8 slots open. I just say PST for invite. I'm sure I'll get flooded here in a second here, so here we go. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. I knew I'd get them. I sent 3 invites. I did. No, it's this side. Go ahead and blue side. Right to team. Why is it not working? There it goes. I don't know why it wasn't working a minute ago. We got all 3 of them in here. Let's see who else we can get. New side, tell me people we got. We've currently got 4, so we can have a team maximum of 8. So we'll say 4 of 8. 3 more. I'd rather do this with a full team. I mean, not that we really need a full team. I mean, I think you have to have a minimum of 3 or 4 just to do it because it won't launch without at least 3 people, I think. There is a minimum, I'm pretty sure, because it won't launch without it, but I know it doesn't require 8. And it's not like it's difficult at all. It's not like, say, a Destiny raid or something like that, where you have to have complex mechanics or anything. There are missions. There are like quests, missions that do have the complex mechanic kind of thing. Those are called trials. And while this death from below thing is considered a trial, it's not the same kind of trial. The trials are very much like raids, where they have complex mechanics that your team has to do, coordinate their efforts in order to successfully get through. They also have what's called task forces, which are basically like Destiny strikes. There's a series of missions that you go through where you pretty much go into the building, you go from point A to point B, kill everything there, and a boss, and then that's it. There is story to all these things, but does anybody really play an MMO for a story? We have 2 masterminds in here. I just not realized that. You can tell that by these icons over here. I'm a blaster here. Let's get this guy here. Just a minute. We have this guy. We have me as the blaster. These 2 here are masterminds. I just know the icons because I know the game well enough. We have a tanker, we have a corruptor, and a blaster. So we're 2 blasters and a corruptor. Or is it dominator? I forget. I don't know the villain. It's corruptor. Okay, I was right. I don't know the. I don't know the villain icons that well, so I can't brag that much. I get the corruptor and the dominator confused, but this is the corruptor. Two spots left. Give it like, I don't know, another 30 seconds or so. And then I'll make one more announcement and say last call. Okay. No, should I get any more invites or any more tells? Alright, LG, Death from Below, Q. Q. I missed a step. Been a while since I launched a DFB myself. That's why I forgot to hit that button. Drop the audio down. Hey Shannon, welcome to the show. Give me a second here. I'll turn the audio down. It's not even in my head. So hold on. Is that better? It was spiking pretty high on the waveform. Welcome to the show, Shannon. How you doing? Still spiking pretty high. Wow. All right. Do it again. And like 20% then, 25. Let me know if it's too quiet. Are you finally off work, Shannon? Yeah, you should be close to getting off work, huh? The right thing? Why does it seem so freaking loud? There we go. Now it's not spiking so high. Okay. I don't know why I turned it down so damn low. That's weird. This is a PC game, by the way, so if you're looking for it on a console, you will not find it there. I guess I didn't mention that before. But again, the computer that the computer that the type of computer that can handle this, should be, most computers nowadays should be able to handle it because this game is 12 years old, or at least this game came out in 2004. So this game is like 16 years old, 17 years old. So as long as you have a computer that's at least 5 years old, and well, I would say even at least 10 years old, should be able to handle it just fine. Now we're leveling up here. We get to learn a new ability. Now we can do that. In the early, I think first 20 levels of leveling up, maybe even a little bit more, maybe like the first 30. For every even level that you gain, you will get a new ability. You have access to a new ability. For every odd level that you gain, you will gain 2 slots for using for enhancements. So, like at 2, you'll get a new ability. At 3, you get 2 new slots. At 4, you get a new ability, so on and so forth. And I think that lasts for like the first 20 to 30 levels, and then it kind of changes up a little bit. Like every other level, or like every third even level, you get a new ability, whereas everyone in between, you get 2 new slots. In the upper right hand corner, you can kind of see this number 3 up here. I am currently actually level 4, but we're in an area that has a maximum level of 3, so I am downgraded to level 3. Now, that just means that my stats are downgraded. Stats and abilities are downgraded to level 3. If you have any abilities that you learn after level 3, to a certain extent, there is like a minimum cap or maximum cap. you won't. You're not going to be. Those powers aren't going to be removed from you. Exemplary, but when you are exemplar, you're downgraded. Any abilities that are learned past a certain point, you cannot use while you are exemplar to that level. That's basically keep the game balanced, so you're not like overpowering the game with abilities that are far beyond what you should be using. I'm good, Shannon. How about yourself? Trying to avoid the the stress that's on my mind, but otherwise I'm good. Just hungry? What's for lunch? Or it would be dinner for you, wouldn't it? Lunch for me because it's almost afternoon. So I have no AOE or yeah, okay, I'm good. I have no AOE or cone abilities. Crap. And that's what I mean by I can't as a blaster I can't take a lot of hits. Blasters are very squishy, and I am squishy. And we got the badge too, so we're good. Okay. Cadaver counter badge, yeah. Okay. Make sure you're extra awakened and need it, but I'm good now. Rest allows you to recharge your health and endurance. It is it's an instant ability, but it has to, or an instant cooldown ability. Instant cooldown ability, but it does have a long wind-up time. And while you are resting, you are extremely vulnerable to damage. So it's not like you can use it in the middle of a firefight because you will get annihilated. Your your defensive stats are severely reduced. Even the weakest enemies can annihilate you in just a couple of hits if you're resting while around them. So you never want to use rest anywhere near a actual combat zone. One nice thing about this game is when you level up, you are automatically if you're dead, you're automatically resurrected, and you get full health and endurance as soon as you level up. Don't run away. I only want to flame your ass. Like, quite literally. Normally, I would have used a Sentinel to build this character with, but considering that I already have a Fire Blasting Sentinel with that character I told you that was my very first character ever made, I thought it would be kind of unnecessary to duplicate that, and I wanted to show you guys the game from the start. So this character will be so I made a Fire Blaster instead of a Fire Sentinel for that fact. Otherwise, I would have just made a Fire Sentinel. I didn't think it was necessary to have two of the exact same character builds, even if it was one for just the stream. Now, you don't have to worry too much about selecting abilities that you don't like or don't want. Actually, you know what? Let's go with our first flight ability. Let's get hover. Hover increases our damage or our defense, which is nice. Something that I want to make sure that I point out to people is that there are two different stats in this game. One is called one is your defense stat and one is your damage resistance stat. Now, by description, it may be confusing. One might ask, okay, what is the difference between damage resistance and defense? Well, the difference is damage resistance is how much damage you ignore when you take a hit. How much damage you don't take when you take a hit. How much damage is reduced, hence the term damage reduction, from being attacked. Now, why is it different from defense? Well, it differs from defense in the fact that defense is how likely you are to completely avoid an attack. So a more accurate description of defense would be agility or evasion. So with a higher defense stat, you will evade or avoid enemy attacks altogether. Whereas damage resistance makes you resistant to an attack that's going to hit you. Alright then. Where was it? I wanted to... Powers, utility, buff power is what I wanted. No, miscellaneous, no. Where are they? Okay, what the... Am I forgetting something? Experience rates. It's not inspiration drops, prestige. It's not enhancements. It's not attacks. Amplifiers, there they are. Little boosts to our base stats wouldn't be a bad thing to have. Let's do another DFB. Like I said, I like to run the Death from Below trials till about 15, which I'm at 6 now. Which you can tell the number right here. If you are at your level, the number up here, in the upper right hand corner, will be white. If you are sidekicked or you're being leveled up to match the level of the mission or the other teammates in that mission, which you can do, it'll be blue. If you're being leveled down to match the mission, the number will be orange. I gotta form another one. I guess I will. Back the camera just a little bit. One thing I don't like about using those wings is because they're so big, they fill up so much of the screen, so it's hard to actually see what I'm doing, what I'm firing at and shooting at, and all that stuff. Which, I mean, isn't really critical. It's not like I have to actually aim or anything. It's all stat-based, where the attack is programmed to hit a target, and whether or not I hit or miss is based on an RNG stat roll. So it's not like I actually have to aim or anything. I just prefer to be able to see what the hell I'm shooting at. I guess I'll create the team. Doesn't look like anybody's making one, so... Switch over to PMs here. C for invite. Why does that not work? Used to work. If you were to press I, it would send the invite. Let's clear the board. Five slots. Oh, I guess since I have the my flight ability now, I can go up here and show you what that badge at the top of the ball, top of the globe, top of the earth. There it is. What a view. It's so pretty out here. Looks like it said 41 slots, but slash, so I had to correct it. How the hell do you have 41 slots in your team? Don't ask me. Now, as far as what I'm going to be playing tomorrow, if I play this on stream, it's going to be pretty rare. It's going to be like a filler, or just like if I'm going to do a short stream or something like that. But for tomorrow, my next main game that I'm going to be streaming will be Star Wars, the Star Wars Jedi Outcast 2, or sorry, Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast on PC. Assuming I can get it to work, which it was working earlier, but I didn't have it completely set up. So, Judge Judy Slayer, love the name. Welcome to the Dragon's Lair. Thank you so much for that follow. Can we get some hatchling hype in the chat for our newest member of the Dragon's Lair? Thank you so much for the follow. Glad to have you here. But yeah, tomorrow I'll be doing Star Wars Jedi Outcast 2 Jedi Knight. I keep saying it backwards. Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. It is actually a later part of the series from a series of games called the Jedi Knight series, obviously. Actually, it's called the Dark Forces Jedi Knight series. I would like to play the entire series on stream, but I'm going to need a little bit of... I'm going to need some feedback. I want you guys to let me know if you all want to see the entire series of games in that set. Otherwise, I'm just going to probably just do Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy. But there is a story of games based around Kyle Katarn, which is the Jedi of that story. I would like to do the whole thing, the whole series. It's really odd not getting a lot of takers for the DFB. Usually it's people left, right, and sideways wanting to run a Death from Below. Why did you leave earlier then? Ow. I just punched my mic. Sorry if you guys probably heard that. Guess we'll get started. And here we go. I'm that close, I gotta zoom into like first person. So I can go a little bit closer to my character. Too far back, then I don't like having a too far back field of view. We don't have a tank on the team, do we? Nope, we have no crowd control as far as like keeping everything in one place. There's another reason why I choose a blaster and I choose hover with it, because it keeps me from getting too many melee attacks. I have to use range attacks to hit me in many cases. If I can keep in the air. What level am I at now? 8. Okay, that's not bad. Let's get flight. And we don't have to have the beast run anymore. I'll either be flying or I won't. Oh, I don't need flight, need hover now. These guys be right in my face, huh? Nice close-up of these enemies. You want a good close-up look at them, there you go, you got them. I didn't really want it, but hey. Hey, Devo. Are you the host? You're just in time to watch me finish this up and wrap up. I'm not going to be on very long today. When I fucking stop punching the microphone, damn. The last thing they need to hear in their ears is a loud clank because I punched the microphone. I spent a couple hours showing this game off, seeing if anybody that I know that might be interested in playing this with me, because I would like to play with friends. I'll stay on a little bit longer since you got on, so you could watch and enjoy, hopefully. Didn't want to be on long day because I wanted to show this off quickly into the game I wanted to play. Wasn't ready to play yet, so. Try to do D2. I understand that. How you doing, D2? Just doing a bunch of strikes, I assume? Oh, okay. Yeah, forgot about that. All right, y'all. I need a brief restroom break. I'll be back in 1 minute. Enjoy commercial. Don't go anywhere. Are you ready for a vacation but can't decide where to go? You don't want to go to boring places that everyone else goes. What would make you want to explore landmarks like the Eiffel Tower, Statue of Liberty, or the Egyptian pyramids? Everyone goes there, and that's boring. You want to visit more exciting locales, right? Well, you've come to the right place. Presenting Dragon's Adventure Club. We have vacation packages to the most unique places you'll ever imagine. Visit the wondrous Mako-powered city of Midgar. Explore the depths and deep-rooted religious history of Bavel. Tour the wondrous aquatic city of Altisha. Packages include non-stop round-trip flights on Frontier Union Airlines and 5 nights at the best local 5-star hotels. Become a member of Dragon's Adventure Club today. Still not convinced? Check out our free, no-obligation brochure on all the locations and packages we offer. That's Dragons Adventure Club. Hello again. Welcome back. Alright, let's see if we can get one more group together. Hey Josh. Welcome to the show. How you doing? Thank you for the pizza. Diggs! How you doing? Welcome to the show. Waiting for some people to join us for this little thing we're doing here. Gotcha. I'm doing all right. How is everybody doing? Hello, Geeks. Hello, Josh. Hello, Bimo. I was just actually about to end the show, but all you guys suddenly show up. Now I'm going to stay for a bit longer. Anybody here have any clue what I've been doing? Besides the fact that it says in the, the title that I'm playing City Heroes, but anybody have a clue what I'm doing here? Anybody played this game before? Nice! Stormcaller's a good one. I'm surprised you hadn't heard of BMO because Kupo's mentioned it before. Yeah, he can make a slew. You make your character look like anything. You have almost infinite variations of characters that you can make. You can customize it any way, and I made mine a dragon for the stream. It's a superhero MMO, and you can customize your character to be what you want, with the exception of looking like an actual copyrighted superhero. Like you can't make a character look like Wolverine or Superman or anybody that's actually a copyrighted character, because the game devs will come down on you for that. But otherwise, you are free to make your character look like anything you want. Hey, Mikey! How you doing? That was loud. What you doing, Mikey? What you up to today? I'm glad to hear you're feeling better. Because I reached level 10, that's why. My plan today was actually to play Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, but I didn't have it ready to go by the time the show started, so maybe to wait a bit. Also, I have Destiny 1 installing as we speak on my Xbox, because I wanted to take at least a day to show you guys some of the exotic weapons and stuff that I have unlocked through my time playing Destiny 1. Because I don't have very much unlocked. I really want to show you guys the Zalo Super Cells because I wanted to, show you how much I like that weapon. I'm hoping that I can still play it because I had it on disc, I think, and I don't remember if I ever got the digital version of Destiny 1 for the Xbox. If I didn't, oh well. But I guess I won't be able to show off the Zalo, but. Holly was in here a little bit ago. Oh, crap. Hang on, let me take this call. I'm back. Sorry about that, everybody. I am very, very sorry. I had to take a phone call suddenly. One of those little things I was talking about that I was stressed about. That phone call was involving that. So now I just need to. Did the team leave? Team finish and leave? No, they're still there. Okay, let me get down there quickly. Hello, Link. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Sorry again. I apologize for the sudden disappearance and long pause. Captain Link, this is City of Heroes. This is an old MMO that actually closed its doors on in November 2012, but it was reopened about 3 years ago on private servers, and I'm just enjoying it again. I thought I would show it off to you guys because I've been looking forward to making some, see if I can get some of my friends that I know to play this with me. It's gonna be fun looking to play with them. It's very World of Warcraft-ish, like style MMO, but with a superhero superhero theme instead of like swords and shields and magic and all that other crap. You can customize your character. You can look pretty much like anything except a copyright superhero character, and with a vast array of classes and abilities. Oh yeah, this game came out in 2004. Even though they updated the graphics closer to 2012, this game is still not. It still doesn't require that many resources. Especially if you turn down a few stats. If your computer's a little bit, if your computer's older than like 5 years, you might have a little issue. Well, very little issue. Because, like I said, this game is very old, so it's not like you're trying to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare or anything like that on it. It's a very low resource requiring game, so I'm pretty sure you can handle it and load it pretty quick. Classes are possibly canceled. Why are they possibly canceled? Like at all? What would make them go from possible to actually? Here. Over on a different thing here that we're done. And Mikey has redeemed 2,000 for the Chocobo Ranch. Once again, enjoy the Chocobo Ranch commercial. Here you go. Dick Dickerson would like to have a word with you.
Howdy, y'all. My name is Richard Dickerson, but you can call me Dick. That's right, I'm Dick Dickerson, and I'd like to ask you something. Have you ever wondered how to cross the largest oceans but don't have a boat? Ever wondered how to climb the highest mountains but don't have any climbing gear? Well, want to know more? Here at Big Dick Chocobo Ranch, you can get yourself one of my fancy chocobos that can make those massive oceans seem like puddles and make those towering mountains feel like tiny dirt piles. We have the widest selection of the cutest chocobos this side of Midgard. From the slick feathered strider to the fluffy darter to the established and mature look of the swift runner, you're sure to find a chocobo type that's right for you. Don't want a chocobo that looks like the rest? For a small additional fee, we can color your chocobo's feathers to any color you like. With our patented permadye technology, your chocobo can be virtually any color you wish and remain that way for the lifespan of the chocobo. Our permadye technology is completely safe for you, your family, and the chocobo. We also have a wide selection of accessories for you to choose from. From tiny trinkets like medals to full body armor, you can accessorize your chocobo to your heart's desire. So stop by Big Dick Chocobo Ranch to speak to one of our chocobo masters about your chocobo today. Or you can give us a call to set up an appointment or check out our website at bigdickranch.net. That's right, BigDickRanch.net. I'm Dick Dickerson. I'll see you down the road.
Welcome back, everybody. Mikey, hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, BMO, we don't have. I didn't really plan on streaming this game very often. This will be very rarely that I actually stream it, because I just like playing this game better offline. But I just, would like to play with friends. That's all. Someone in my class tested positive, and everyone in class are being instructed to stay on campus and can't enter the building to be told otherwise. Oh my! Ooh, that ain't good. Yeah. Part of the reason that it spreads so much is because people just don't care. I mean, it wouldn't really be that big of a problem if people just actually, did things right. You were, if you were sick, stayed home. Wear the damn mask. Yeah, okay, so it's a pain in the ass. It's inconvenient to wear the mask. What's more inconvenient? Wearing a mask on your face or being like almost critically sick or sometimes even actually fatally sick? I mean, which would you rather do? Would you be inconvenienced for the 15, 30, 40, 45 minutes, an hour that you have to wear a mask on your face, or the hours and days and weeks that you're going to be ill because you can't do anything? Because you're, super sick. People just don't use their brains at all. They don't give a shit. We just teamed up with this minefields guy. I think Steel is where we need to go. Let's go north. Doesn't really matter either way. This might be the last straw. I might be dropping the classes. All the problems I have gone through. It's just not worth it. What kind of problems have you been dealing with? Do you mean like, you mean class-wise? Or do you mean like personally? Or like, what do you mean? This out here. Where's the... Oh, here we go. We have a controller, a corruptor. Yeah, I always get those confused. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the villain classes that well. Controller. We got Sentinel, 2 tanks, technically 3 tanks with a brute here, and me as a blaster, and another corruptor. So we have a lot of damage dealing with 3 corruptors. Well, 4 with the Sentinel. A little bit of control. We have no healing, though. No dedicated healing unless this defender's got some heals, which I don't think... I'll bet he probably doesn't. Mind control and force field. Yeah, we don't really have any healing. But we'll have to make it work. We do have 2 tanks, though. Again, 3 tanks, sort of. Brutes I don't really call tanks as much because they're not quite as durable. Everything from registration to the multiple websites to and places for the info and customer service. Anything you think of as needed. Where do you go to school, if you don't mind my asking? California Community College. I can't really speak that much about college in general, whether it's community, a university, whatever. This will come as a big shock to probably a grand total of 0 people, but I have never been to college. Never even, tried to go to college. None of the above. I never did. I mean, I looked into it once a long time ago because there was a college that was nearby the house I was living at that had one of the classes was, I assume, some sort of like physical education class, some sort of like PE kind of class that was that had ice skating as the class, because with the ice rink that I worked at when I was living back in Texas. There was a college campus that was bringing their kids to their students to the rink to skate. And I played hockey, so I was like, well, I already know how to skate, so this will be an easy class. I mean, shit, I know how to skate. Obviously, I'm a goalie. I have to know how to skate. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just go to college and use this class for some easy credits or whatever, and find some other classes that I'd be interested in. I was interested in computer technology and stuff and computer science, so I thought I would just do that and take those skating classes, an easy way to get credits and all that stuff. Right after I started looking into it and started saving up money for it, my mother got really sick with the cancer that eventually killed her. And, well, it's the hospital that killed her, but whatever. That's a long story. And I never tried going to college ever again, and now it's too late. I'm almost 40, and going to college now would be a waste of money and time. Even more so than it would have been in my teens. Wasn't my thing. Yeah. School never was for me either. That's why I went and started homeschooling in 7th grade, because I got sick of the kids and almost got into a fight with one. The only reason I didn't is because I was too afraid of my father's reaction, no matter what the fight would have been about. No matter how wrong I would have, no matter how right I would have been or justified, I didn't know how he would have reacted, so I didn't get into the fight. Yeah, I was homeschooled from 7th grade, like I said. I went to public schools before that, and another reason I left public school. This is going to sound like I'm really trying to fluff my own dick here, and I'm not. But I was actually bored with school because I was too smart for it. I mean, I really don't mean to sound like over egotistical here, but I was bored with school because I would have my classes, they would give the lesson, and I would pick up the lesson. I would instantly have it, but not instantly, but I would have it faster than the average level of the school, of the rest of the class, and I would have to be bored waiting for the rest of the lesson to be taught to the rest of the kids, because I got the lesson, I understood it, ready to move on, but they had to do it slower for everybody else, so I was bored. And so when they finally got around to the next part of the lesson, I didn't pay attention, and so I missed some of the my mind worked too fast for the school. Again, I don't like talking about that because it sounds like I'm bragging and, again, fluffing my own dick. I don't like to do that because I don't like to sound like I'm an egotistical prick. I know too many of those, and I don't want to be one of those. But it's the truth. I learned too fast, really, to put it in a really simple sense. it's my way of saying, inflating my own ego. I use different phrases here. It's just kind of the way I am. It makes me different. It makes me special. I'm certainly one that you could say is a nonconformist. Makes for weird stream. Yeah, being unique is what brings people in and keeps them around. At least I think that's what keeps them here. Got 10 of you in here right now. Watch me play an MMO that's 17 years old. So I guess that's certainly a unique thing. So he's on his way home. That's good. That's good. When is he actually going to be back in town? Nine. Okay. So definitely would not be a night to ask if you wanted to play Destiny 2. Because you'll be spending time with Joey, which I totally get. Which, if Holly was in here a minute ago, I was asking her last night, Mikey, about doing Destiny with us, and she said she was interested. I don't know if she still plans to play tonight or not. Possibly. I don't know. MMOs just don't really hold me very long. I mean, there's really like only 3 MMOs that I will play on even any kind of semi-consistent basis. This is one of them. The other 2 is Star Trek Online and Star Wars: The Old Republic. Other than that, I just don't really have interest in doing MMOs. I played Champions Online for a little while, right after CD Heroes shut down back in November 2012, and it's okay. It's a good substitute for CD Heroes, but I don't. MMOs, even the ones that I like a lot, like Star Trek, Star Wars, and this one, I just don't do very often because I don't want to. I have other things to do than spend my time on those things. Other games I want to play, streaming. I want to start working on the RPG that I'm making, an RPG maker that I eventually will stream myself doing. So I'll stream actually making a video game. So. Well, I guess I had technically Destiny as well, but I don't really. I mean, Destiny is an MMO by design, but not really by description. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I think when I think of MMOs, I think of like World of Warcraft, Star Trek Online, this game. That's what I think of when I think of MMOs. I mean, by definition, yeah, but Destiny's MMO because there's it's a massively multiplayer online game. I just think of it as a very popular shooter, that's all. Think of it like online Halo. like a multiplayer Halo, which it very much is that way. And yes, I made the parallel on purpose because Bungie made Halo just like they made Destiny. Wait, what? In here? Oh, teleport to Sullivan or in Vega. That's right. I mean, first-person shooter. It's a. I wonder if it would be more complex or more simple than, say, Borderlands. Would it be an easier version or a more complex version of Borderlands? I'm not really sure, but it's basically a looter shooter. That's really what they define it as, and that's what Borderlands is. And that's kind of what Destiny is. It's an MMO looter shooter essentially. Unlike most shooting games where they have like 6 weapons and those are the weapons that you get because that's all there is. You have the pistol, you have the sniper rifle, you have the shotgun, you have the machine gun, you have the assault rifle, whatever, 5, 6, 8 guns. That's pretty much all they are. Whereas you've got in Destiny, you have 100 different assault rifles that each have different stats on it, 100 different rocket launchers that have different stats on it. So I would say like an online looter shooter as opposed to like Borderlands, which you can play online, but it's not really massively multiplayer. You can't really interact with people randomly while you're playing Borderlands. Pretty much everybody that you play multiplayer with is playing alongside you because you chose them to be in your party, or you were matchmade with them. You're not going to see a random folk walking around in the fields in Borderlands. Yeah, Borderlands. So how far along have you gotten? How far along have you gotten in Destiny 2? I know you started a new character, because I saw you doing the tutorial stuff with Shah Han and all that other stuff. How far along have you got? Sorry, I've been missing your stream. You've been streaming it. Been playing a lot of Destiny 1. Playing some nostalgic stuff because I miss Destiny 1's awesome strikes. Beat all the DLC, got to 1278. 1278, not bad. That's pretty good. Let's see, I think Holly is like 1270 something as well. Probably could do some some of the dungeons and stuff. I know BMO just passed 1300 recently, and I'm 1324, 1327. I want to say 1324. $1284 on your warlock. That's not bad. That's not bad. Did you once again? Did you remember to move your weapons over from your hunter, BMO, because for using the app, because you'll get higher than 1284 if you're using those higher weapons. Well, Mikey probably has plenty of people that already that he can already talk to, but I've got a number of people as well that are interested in probably doing the raids as well. BMO wants to, Holly wants to. I'm skeptical about doing them because just I'm a little bit I don't know what the word is, what I'm looking for, scarred. Because of the raids I've done in the past that have taken like 4 to 5 hours to get through them because of, one person screwing up raids, as I've talked about many times before. But, so we've got Mikey, BMO, Holly, and me. That's 4. So we've got 4 people, so we really just need 2 more to do raids and some of the 6-player activities. We got, obviously, we have at least 3 people that we can do some of the dungeons, because I've never completed a dungeon. I've been in dungeons. I've never completed a dungeon run. Do you want clan got back together? Yeah, hired gear kind of stops at a certain point until like the following week. Which, by the way, today is Tuesday, so the new content is out. The next mission stuff is out in Destiny 2. Because now with the new season, there's a new mission every week that's launched on Tuesday. You like the Dawnblade? Well, that's the Dawnblade is the base version. The Well of Radiance is the enhanced version is the different version. Changes your super, giving you that Well of Radiance, the massive buff to your teammates, which is good in raids. I will say that for sure. It's definitely good in raids. Raids, dungeons, hard strikes. Start grinding. Well, I'll probably I'm gonna spend a little time with Shannon after I get off the stream here, but probably gonna go do some Destiny with Destiny 2 later with Vimo if she's on, and Holly when she gets off work as well. Oh, clicked her. Oh, I wonder why I was moving so fast. My flight mode was still on. Why am I flying so fast? There's all kind. There's also Mikey. I don't know how much you know about Destiny 2, but there's also recent. It's a rather recent new thing. You know what the excuse me. You know what the lost sectors are, right? I think like a few seasons back, they started doing what they called master and legendary lost sectors. Basically, they're just harder versions of lost sectors, and they reward pretty decent stuff. Usually exotic gear. I think depending on which you do and how hard it is depends on what the exotic gear actually is. And the lost sector changes daily. I've never been able to complete a lost sector because they're pretty damn hard. I think the minimum, me and Holly and Bimo looked at it last night. I think the minimum level, a minimum power level, has to be like 1350, I believe. Or it was something kind of, it was like 1350 is the easy lost sector, and 1380 is the harder lost sector. Yes, Bimo? Wow, I taught you well, young Padawan. So proud. My students are growing up. Now if we can just get Holly to get a few hundred kills. Atlas Park. Okay, let's reveal Atlas. Yeah, I can't remember which path it is, but the solar version of the Warlock has a melee that is actually ranged, so we actually it's sort of like throwing a grenade, but it shoots it straight. So you actually have like a ranged melee, kind of like the hunter's melee is with the throwing knife. I mean, as much as I like my Warlock, which I really, really do, I love my Warlock. I love that he's like a walking nuke. I want to take a break from him. I want to play something else. I want to try another character, another class that I really, really like, but I've tried. Every time I do, I'm just like, okay, bored. Want to go back to my warlock now. I mean, I like my stasis hunter. I like my gunslinger hunter, especially when I use the throwing knife super. But I just can't seem to stay on it long, and I'm like, want to go back to my warlock now. I don't know what it is. Really like a warlock. That's good. Good. Reveal again. Oops. Went the wrong way. You like the Titan? I like the striker class, the striker subclass of the Titan. I like supers that are... I like non-roaming supers and that are one-shot, like, supers. Like... this, I'm making this funny on purpose, but I like blowing my load once and being done. But that's how I am with my supers in Destiny. I like this. I don't like roaming supers. I like the supers that are quick and one large blast that covers a large area, which is why I like the stasis subclass in the hunter, the squall and whatever it is, I forget. I like the knife thrower in on the gunslinging subclass. Yeah, the gunslinger hunter. And I like the thunder crash of the Titan because while it's sort of a roaming super because it's your body that's moving, it's moving at such a fast rate it can't really be shut down. I like supers that last long and I get to make chaos happen. You would certainly like the would like the Stormcaller then. I do kind of like the actual golden gun of the gunslinger as well, even though it is technically a roaming super. But if you have the Celestial Nighthawk on the Gunslinger Hunter, you can make your golden gun a one-shot, which is good for high damage on bosses. So that's really nice. But I still think I prefer the blade throwing of the Hunter. Which maybe the next time I get on Destiny 2, I think I'll send my weapons, my Sunshot, my Fractalist, and my rocket launcher over to my Hunter and play on the Hunter Gunslinger for a little while. See how long I can tolerate it before I get bored again. Because I played the Gunslinger throwing blade version, the burning blades a lot. So Daybreak Super. Yeah, if you like the Daybreak Super, you might actually kind of, if you ever do want to try Titan again, I would say give the Sunbreaker a try, because it's very much like the Dawnbreaker in that, the Daybreaker in that matter, the Daybreak Super in that matter, because it's basically throwing, instead of throwing fire blasts from a sword, you're throwing burning throwing burning hammers. So it's, you know, almost the exact same thing. Just the Titan has a little more survivability than what a Warlock does. Just, you know, out of, you know, just innate survivability. If I ever get bored again, I might take a Titan. I'm having fun with this Warlock. You, by all means, you go right ahead. I'm just saying. And I'm not at all bored with the. There's the dark version of me, and my Dark Dragon. Not that I'm bored with my Warlock. I just would like a little bit of a change of pace. But also, conversely, I'm also resistant to change because I know that anything else that I use is not going to be anywhere near as destructive or good as my setup. I'd like to, try a weapon that isn't my sunshot, but the only weapon that would possibly replace it would be the Zalo Supercell, and they're never going to bring that to Destiny 2. They have too many weapons already that are like that. Whisk Runner, Thunderlord, the electric, the arc bow that they have that does almost the same thing. They have too many weapons that do AOE electric attacks. They're not going to make another. They're not going to bring the Zalo from D1. That board just need change. Yeah, I didn't like the board walker when I first played him either. I used the Nova Bomb, and it was just like it shot it straight out, went straight down, and it was just like, no, I don't like this. And so I, stayed with my Titan for the longest time, and then I started using the Warlock consistently, and I'm just like, Dario, $12.95. Wow, you really were getting up there quick. Holly! We were just talking about you. Sort of. We were talking about Destiny and involving you and stuff. Really? Mr. Perigal and Mrs. Perigal. Think they're playing together? Mikey, you hear you see Holly's request? He's in the chat, by the way. Holly, Mikey Highwood is in the chat right now. At least he was a minute ago. I assume he still is. Just for now, I'll worry about putting enhancements on them later. I should just toggle up up here. It says recharging. Why does it say recharging when it shows recharged? Weird. Alright. I'll do one more, if I can grant a Positron Part 2 task 4, so I'll run that one and then I'll call it because I think that's a good amount there. That's a big dude. Okay, well, maybe he's not here now. We had 8 people in here earlier, and he was one of them. He talked about wanting to get up and actually start. Like, let's see. He last said something at almost 2 o'clock, so about 13 minutes ago. He said he wanted to get up and start grinding, so I may have talked him into going to play Destiny. So he may already be in Destiny. But I will. I'll make sure to ask him when I get off stream if he doesn't pop back in here before the end of the show. Ah, okay. Well, that's all right. If nobody's going to be on, I can probably just play Destiny by myself or play something else, I guess. I don't have a problem with it. I'll fly around in my dragon until someone says they're ready to play. So they're ready to join me or invite me or something. Or if it doesn't happen quick enough, then I'll just call it here. Doesn't matter to me. I'm starting to get hungry anyway. Probably should just go ahead and stop and eat. Want to see Paragon City from really high up? $17. You know what I miss? I know nobody's going to get this because they haven't played this, most of you haven't played this game yet. I miss the Richter invasions. Spaceships would actually fly through the town, and aliens would spawn, and everybody had to fight them. What do you mean ruining plans? What plans are ruined? Talking about the thing with you and me and Mikey tonight. That's not really ruined. It's just delayed, postponed, rain checked. Ooh, what's this? I don't think I've seen this before. What is this greenhouse dome thing? This is cool. Too bad I can't get in there, but this is cool. Huh. I've never seen it before. Okay. I don't seem to be getting any bites, so we're going to wrap it up here. So, it's time for our Dragon Raid. Hello, all right, everybody. Hello, everybody. I don't know why I'm trying to do my intro. All right, let's see who we can. Oh, we'll go raid. Let's see. Where did Kupo go? I saw him on earlier doing something. Left side playing D2. All right, that sounds good to me. I'll do that one. Thank you, BMO. Guys, if you enjoyed the show, don't forget to check out my other social media links, Facebook, YouTube, and Discord. The starters put them in the chat already. As always, special appreciation goes out to the men and women of the United States military, both at home and overseas, as well as police officers and firefighters across the country. Thank you for your service and sacrifice. You're all true heroes. Let's go raid left side. Let them know the Crimson Dragon sent you, and I will see you all tomorrow for Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast. I hope I said the title right tomorrow, because I said it right just now. Until then, good night, everybody.